People are not broken, they adapted to survive. Welcome to the Way Out of Childhood Trauma with Barb Wartzel-Smith. Welcome to a new episode of Way Out of Childhood Trauma. And today is here with me amazing person, Kym Power. Kym, welcome on our podcast. Kym is the Wellbeing Coach, holistic therapist, and retreat host and speaker. And it's a great honor to really have here Kym because she is a really well-known and successful person helping a lot of people. So she working also with the international celebrities as Kylie Minogue, Lady Gaga, Richard Branson, Anthony Robbins, Bruce Springsteen, and many other entrepreneurs. But we all have the similar things that Kym helps to people who feel overwhelmed, anxious, burnout, depressed, entrepreneurs, and people who wants to get better in their life, media personalities, celebrities, high achievers, to reclaim their energy, vitality, well-being, so they can thrive both personally and professionally. And I think that we all trying to achieve in our lives. So she's very passionate advocate for holistic wellness, self-care, and personal responsibility. And her core belief is there is no point being rich and successful if you are too ill, lonely, or depressed to actually enjoy it. And that's probably valid for everything in life, isn't it? It's no point to have anything. We need to be enjoying the life. So drawing her expertise in NLP, holistic healing, mentoring, and decades of entrepreneur experience, Kym supports her clients to restore their mental, emotional, and physical well-being, creating lifelong, sustainable, positive change. She supported thousands of clients since 1993, and her life purpose is to help others confidently live a life of ultimate well-being, calmer, healthier, wealthier than ever before. So, and when she's not holding space for others, she recharging herself somewhere remote on the wellness retreat, trekking in nature, or on the beach. So that's amazing lifestyle. So tell me, Kym, why did you even get to it? Why did you start to do what you're doing instead of being entrepreneur?
It's a very long story, Bob, but I basically started as a hairdresser. Then I went from hairdressing to massage. Then I started my wellness company, and that's the company that I grew throughout all of Australia. And what I kept noticing as I was doing hands-on work with people was that they would feel better in the moment, and then all of their aches and pains and everything would come back. And it was like, this is not right. Something's not right. And so it was nearly like, I went down a rabbit hole of like, how do I fix this for them? And how do they get over this part so it doesn't keep showing up? And so that's when I went and studied my neuro-linguistic programming. I did a 2-year program in that, like a master's program. And then I traveled over to India. I've worked in India in ashrams and studied with masters there with energetic stuff. And so now, like, what happens is when I'm coaching and I'm doing Zoom, I can literally tune in and feel what's going on for someone, which is, beautiful. And some might say that that's like a bit out there, but it's very normal. Like when I was massaging, I would be able to pick up that on their body, clear it off them, and then they would be like blown away, floating on, cloud 9. So it was a very long journey, but now I am utilizing all of my skills throughout the past, 30 years to be able to get the beautiful results that I get from my clients. And it just makes my heart happy to see them well.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And I kind of do it same. Like when I'm working with people, I just kind of tune into them because then we can really get that what it is really behind. Is it like we are all connected through the common unconsciousness or whatever we will call it. We are connected and we can tune to each other. The moms tuning to their babies and knowing what's wrong with them or so yeah. So what is it? What are you finding most often a reason why people not thriving in their lives? Is there some common denominator?
A lot of the times it does go back to childhood trauma, things that they've picked up along the way, especially like in the very early years, up until sort of 7, 8 years of age. But
Mhm.
of course, it goes past that into teenage, years as well. So being able to isolate that, find out where something has taken place, and the lovely thing about what I do, and I imagine maybe what you do as well, is that I don't have to get that person to relive the trauma over and over and over and over again, that they stay in, therapy for the next 20 years not dealing with it, and literally just playing that trauma out. So it's so beautiful to be able to see a very quick transition from what was very traumatic, and they haven't been able to shift or clear themselves. And it keeps sort of smacking them in the face every so often, even though they think they might have dealt with it. And then, to be able to go bam, and then, okay, it just disintegrates and it's cleared. So yeah, it's very interesting work, and I adore it because it's just so beautiful to see that change in someone when the light comes on in their eyes and there's hope for them.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's what keeping me going also. Yeah. Sometimes people ask me like why you keep going and why you working with the people so severely traumatized. I said like, yeah, because when you see that change, when you see the trauma lifted, when you see how they start glowing and how they start to be themselves, that's just amazing. That's just so fulfilling and purposeful, isn't it?
Yeah,
And
yeah, it lights up my heart. It really does. Every time I get off a session with a client, I'm just like, oh, I love what I do. I love it. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. So if somebody would come and ask and say like, Kim, I don't, oh no, nobody ever helped me. Like, I tried everything, 10 years, 20 years, um, nothing helping. What do you would say that person?
It's a really tricky one because they have pretty much lost all their hope, and they're, to their credit, they're still being very brave and reaching out and saying, please, could you help me? Which is brave in itself, because some people don't even keep doing that. They just literally go, well, this is my lot, you
Yeah.
know? And so the ones that do reach out and say, hey, is there anything you can do? They will have every reason why it's not going to work. And my job is to basically say, please just give it a shot. Trust me for as long as we need to for you to start to feel. And usually within the first or second session, they will feel the shift. But quite often it does come up that it's like, yeah, you're saying all this, Kym, but I actually don't believe you. And funnily enough, I just had a client this week who's been with me about 3 months, and we do, 2 sessions a month. And she said, you know what? I've been fighting coming to the sessions and really like having to make myself do it. She said, but here's the changes that have happened for me since we've started, and no one else has been able to achieve that. She said, all the years I've gone through everything and no one's done it. People have freaked out with what my symptoms are, with how my reactions are. She had suicidal tendencies, all sorts of things going on. And she said, people would just freak out and go, you're too much. I can't deal with you. She said, the thing I've noticed about you, Kym, is no matter what I say to you or how I show up, you can hold the space and the energy for me to be able to make the changes. And it really, like, it literally nearly made me cry when she said, I actually get it now. Like, you weren't just saying it, you really meant it, and I actually can feel it. And it
Mm.
was, oh my gosh, like that is worth a gazillion dollars to me, because that's what I'm on the planet to do.
Yeah, yeah. Same reason. And you are absolutely right that a lot of people are not ready to deal with people because they're not understanding what's really happening with them. But when we do understand what are the reasons behind these thoughts and behind these symptoms, we can help people. Yeah. And I'm teaching it for those who want to learn. But back to it's about that people it's a bravery, and I encourage everybody to take that courage and ask for help and come and say I need help, because help is available, and it's through why I'm doing this podcast, to actually show people like there's so many people who are able to help, that it's not it start to be army of us, and that's good. We need to be a lot of people, and we can help. So, Kym, you mentioned that you're doing your ultimate well-being, life of ultimate well-being. Tell me a little about it. What is life of ultimate well-being?
I've noticed over the years that there's 5 different levels of well-being, and I can pretty much identify, speaking with people, like which level that they show up in because of what they're going through, what their thoughts are like, what their physical symptoms are like, happening in their life, and if things keep showing up and showing up, and so that's why I've sort of created a framework. And when they first come to me, it's, if you can imagine, like an upside down triangle. This triangle is very higgledy-piggledy. It can be blown over like the wind, and it doesn't have a firm foundation. And so they start somewhere at the bottom of that very, like, not great triangle. And as we work together, that triangle flips over, and then it's grounded on the bottom. It's like, think of a pyramid, and then it's sitting in the right way, and they're moving up through the layers and the levels in a consistent, healthy, safe manner. So by the end of it, they will be in the ultimate well-being section, where they can create their life the way they want. It's not reliant on anyone else's approval or thoughts or anything like that. They've got the courage and the strength and the confidence and the groundedness to be able to literally cope with whatever life throws at them. And we all have life throw stuff at us, no matter who we are. So
Absolutely. So tell me, what are these 5 levels of ultimate well-being?
So the way that I've put it together, there's sort of like, I put it in a celebrity framework, because as a human on the planet, we are all in our own story. We're all creating our own life. And so, yes, whether you're a famous celebrity or whoever, or it's just you and I, we are a celebrity of our own existence, and we're crafting our story as we go. Like you said, some people have childhood trauma, and that's part of their story, but it doesn't have to define who they are. And so they might show up in the bottom section, which is pretty much things are not going well. There's a fair bit of depression or just very uncomfortable feelings. That's the lowest level. And I just call it backstage burnout. So it basically means they're not front and center in their life. Everything is coming up for them. They're not coping well. And so it's burnout, it's depression, it's just feeling terrible and not knowing how to get out of that. The next one is what I lovingly call, I suppose I'll explain it a little bit first, because if I just name it, it's hard. So the next level up is where they start to come out of those reactions and those behaviors, and they find that there's more stability there, that it's easier for them to operate on a day-to-day level. And it's nearly like night and day. Like they start to have a lot more awareness in their life. There's a lot more calm, and some of the old patterns and behaviors that were just running and would trigger in like all the time that they couldn't stop has now stopped. And that it's a great jump from the lowest one, but actually if that doesn't get changed and adapted, they will loop around and loop around. And so it's sort of like, it's nearly like living a roller coaster. lifestyle. So it
Yeah.
just keeps coming around, and you go, but I've done all this. I've done all this. Why is this still showing up?
Mm,
So as they move through that one and come to the next layer, then it's really things are much easier, much simpler, and life starts showing up for them easily. There will still be times when, there's like storms at sea and it's not really smooth sailing, but across the majority of their life, it's smooth sailing, and that's the third level.
mm,
So as you move up from that one, you're starting to get into nearly mastery at that point where you can cope with whatever is showing up. You'll have tiny little drops in your energy or in your emotional, way that you're handling things, but you very quickly pop back out of it. You can isolate it, see it for what it is, and then choose differently. And it's all very conscious and aware at that point. So
mm.
it's a much healthier way of doing life. And the one above that is ultimate well-being. So, ultimate well-being is where you can pretty much have every single aspect of your life sorted. You've got financial sorted, you've got emotional sorted, you've got spiritual, you've got friends, family, all the different aspects of life are now working the way that you choose, but your internal self is rock solid. You know who you are. You know there's no apologies for anyone at any time. And it's a really beautiful place to be able to operate from. So, and at times people will still drop down into the lower level. But that's okay because it's a very quick drop and then they will pop back up. So,
Mm.
and what I do is I allow them to take that, I show them in the session what that feels like, that it's
Mm.
very experiential, and they come up through those levels to get to the point where I become obsolete. And that's my role, is to become completely obsolete in their life.
Absolutely. No, I always telling my clients that, life is wave because everything in universe energy, so everything is wavelengths, like even like hard material, it's just wavelength, which is very compressed. So life not supposed to be like this. That's the deadline. Life is
Yeah.
always like, but depending if we going like up and down, like tsunami, or if we just going like this. And sometimes it's more, and sometimes it's less, and sometimes it's like white water, and sometimes it's a cool lake. But it's about how we handle it, is it? Because when we are in control of our awareness and we are in control of what we're doing, and we consciously choosing our reactions, we stopping be reactive, we choosing reaction, then we can use the paddle and navigate the water. We can choose how we will work with that, because yeah, life's happening, life's changing, events happens, but it's about being in that position to react consciously, react with awareness, not just react from past trauma and feeling overwhelmed and feeling unsafe and unloved and unworthy and all that stuff, is it? So that, yeah, that's a really great concept. It's you're absolutely right, and I think that it's helping people to understand it this way very much. That, but what is important is that it's not a long process. It's not like people don't have to go from this point to this point on the pyramid for 10 years, is it? It's
Fine. Correct.
period or so. So when you're working with people, what people would kind of expect, like what you offering when you're working with people, what they should expect.
Sure. Yeah, when people start working with me, like I said, there's usually a bit of trepidation at the beginning because, like, oh, I've heard all this before and no one else has been able to help me. And, so I I try to help them through that first sort of 3 months. And by the end of the 3 months, they've gone, oh, hold on. This is like usually within the first couple of sessions, they'll go, oh, this is a bit different than what I've tried before. So, it just keeps getting stronger, and then it really rolls into that point where it's like, oh gosh, I think I get this now. Because
Mm.
even after doing it all these years, Barb, I still struggle to explain it well. Like it's hard, yeah, because it's experiential. How do you put it into words? How you make people feel when you take all of that unsafety away and all of the trauma and put them into a place that is just bliss, like
Mm.
love, bliss, safety. It's like they may not have felt that ever or
Mm.
for a very, very long time. So I don't know how to explain that. And, my marketing person's always like, but explain it to me. It's like, no, I don't know. I can't.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the first phase. And then from there, we start to overcome all of the trauma and a lot of the debilitating parts of what's happening for them in daily life. As they move into the next sort of 3 months, they start to feel like the ease of it. It's like, okay, there's hope here. There's, more space here. I could, like, one client last week said to me, I'm actually having glimpses of really positive thoughts that I could go, oh, I could achieve that. Oh, I could do that. Oh, I could work more now rather than being so emotionally, energetically exhausted. She could only do 2 clients a week.
Mm.
Now she's like, I just did 4 clients this week, and so just gently, 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 these things start to change. And I don't rush that process because it's your journey, not mine. I just
Mm.
know how to basically facilitate and guide you so that you never feel alone through it, and that
Mm.
there's always like 100% support. After that sort of 6 month mark, we start to move into what do you really want? What do you want life to look like? And if I ask them that at the beginning, they cannot answer it. It's impossible. Like it literally, it's like they can't find it. Even
Mm.
though they want it, they can't find it.
Yeah.
So as much as I would love to go bam and they're there and it's done, it's like it's a process. And I wish I could go, you're done, and it's like one session and it was beautiful, but I take the time because I want this to be long-lasting change. This is not a flash in the pan and then 6 months later they're back in the same place they were. This is like it sticks for good. So
Mm.
that's the part that I love. And then by the end of the 9 months, usually it's a 12-month journey that I do.
Mm.
And by the end of that 12 months, I basically make myself obsolete, and they've got new things set up in their life that they're very happy with, their
Mm.
systems, their structure, how they're feeling in themselves. And so it's gone from very dark to beautiful and light. And what happens at that point is that they check in with me. Maybe we drop to once a month or every couple of months. And we just do like little catch ups to reset things so that they're not dropping too far down if they do have a hiccup or something shows up that's not great. So, but
Mm.
yeah, basically I'm obsolete. It's like my job is done and I check in on them then just to go, hey, how's things going? What's happening?
Mm.
I had one client who, when she came to me, she was referred to me, and she was about a year into their marriage, and she was physically attacking her husband and had to leave the house because she was so unsafe in her own. She thought he would cheat on her. And so this was all about her, not about him. And she would have to go and stay at her mum and dad's. And she thought she was going to have to get divorced. She'd been to so many people and no one had been able to help her, unfortunately. So when I met her, I said, look, let's do this. Please give me your heart and your trust, and I will help you through it. And the most beautiful thing happened, Barb. By the time we finished working together, I'm just so oh my gosh, it makes me a bit teary. But they've now got a beautiful baby girl. They are happier than ever. And they're building a new house. She just got a promotion at work. And, that was like 2 years ago that we stopped working together, but I still check in on her every, 6 months or so just to see what's happening, what's happening. So for me, it's not just your, client coach. It really is part of my life. And even when they finish working with me, I still want to connect with them and see how they're doing. So, yeah, that's sort of how I work.
No, I do same. I can't say with everybody, but with most of my clients, because I think that I started describing me as kind of stepping stone. Is it like step on me and get higher? I will be helping on your journey, and it's like until they are somewhere, you still want to see like how they doing. And also, I find that it's good for people because they probably never told anybody or to that level what they tell to their therapist, is it, or to their coach, especially when we're working on trauma like this, is it, so that level of understanding where they're coming from and where they got and how they got there, it's mostly nobody else in their life actually has. So I find out that they like to check up with that having that sounding board to say I'm doing well, or um I'm slightly struggling. I know that I can, but I just need like speak about that, and I don't want. I have feeling that it's related to something. Don't want to speak with other people because they don't know my story and they will take it out of context. Is it so? So that's amazing relationships you're building, and I see it also with my clients I work with, that change in families, is it how it's affecting not just that person we work with, we help, but how is that effect on that whole family, on siblings or partners or children, is it? And that's that most beautiful things on it, that it's not just the one person who changed, but the other people, because how they changing, they start changing their reactions, and they growing the beautiful relationship. So yeah, that's a great story. Thank you for sharing it.
I couldn't put it any better. Like, I completely agree. Completely agree. It's like a ripple effect. It's like a flow
Yeah.
on effect from that
Yeah.
one person. It just ripples out and it affects everyone else in their orbit.
Yeah. So it's beautiful, and especially when people have issue with relationships, then it's like so obvious that something is not working in them, because actually relationship is always as on that person, not actually about that others so much. Sometimes about what they allow the others, but they don't know their boundaries, but because they don't feel safe, they don't really know where they are. Um, and even that not knowing who they really are and what they really want. So when you go into a relationship with blinds blinded, like don't know what I really want, then what are you expecting? You will not be happy in a relationship if you don't know who you are and what you want, because then what are you actually trying to fulfill, is it? So and it's really interesting how, and it's why I like to connect with people all around the world. So I know that you're from Australia, but that how actually around the world we coming to the same things in and finding own ways, but ending in the same thing. So it's really about that this is what's working. This is what is helping people, because it's not that we all did and trained the same thing, but we coming by how we doing things to the same things which working, and helping people. So how is the best way to contact you if somebody would want uh, to
Uh,
explore more with you?
Well, obviously, if anyone does want to contact me, they can jump onto my website, which is kympower.com, and it's KYM, not KIM. So they can just jump on there and they can either send me a message through that, or I've actually got a celebrity assessment, which they can go on and they can fill in the assessment, and it will tell them which level they show up in on the model, on the
Mhm.
wellbeing. So it's free to do, and from there they'll get a report sent to their email, And if they want to reach out to me and they want to have a chat to me complimentary, they can do that. Or they can jump in and do, a session straight away. So happy to talk to anyone anytime. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you. I will put the links to the description of episode. So if anybody will want to reach out to Kym, for sure can. So I always ask the guests on the end, what would be one advice you would give people if they have this feeling like, I'm not sure, is it even, can I even have the life of happiness or success? It's, I'm desperate, it's not working. What would be like that advice you would give our
I
listeners?
think it's what we mentioned at the beginning, Barb. It's just reach out, because there are so many people that have done that and they've found the solution that works. Um, but it's really just being brave. And even if they're absolutely exhausted and they think, I can't do it again, like I don't want to go through this all again, this pain is too much, then I think that's the beauty of what I guess you do, of course, and I do, which is we're not keeping them in the pain. We're moving it through and out very quickly, as we can, to be able to find the life that they want. That it's absolutely possible. Like 150%, I know it because I created it for myself. And believe you me, I've had very dark days throughout my, 30-year entrepreneurial journey, and losing my mum and losing my dad and nearly going broke at one point when I grew my business too much. And like, it's like no one has got the perfect life that just everything magically works and appears. I was in Supreme Court at one point where my ex-boyfriend tried to take my company out from underneath me. So there's a huge amount of upheaval and learning curves through that. And I think finding a coach or a therapist that has got the capacity to draw on those life experiences, whatever it may be, they're not a 15-year-old that goes, I'm a life coach because they did a 3-day course. It's like that's probably the difference between who have you gone to, who have you tried, and just don't give up. Like, don't give up. It is possible, and not just possible, it's absolutely guaranteed that you can live the life that you want.
Thank you. That's beautiful advice. Absolutely agree with that. So if you listen to us and you feel that your life is not how you want it, reach out, came to me, to anybody who you will see that will align with you. There is plenty of people who can help. And I think that that's most important message. Like, we have the trauma in our lives. To be told, current statistics saying that 80% of people in the world have childhood trauma. So you are not alone in that. Alone in that. There is a lot of people, but also thanks to that, a lot of people find a way how to get out of it. And it doesn't need to define us, doesn't need to limit our lives. Yeah, we cannot change the history, but we can change how we're reacting from that and live now, here, and happy and fulfilling and purposeful. And whatever that purpose is, and most of people don't know it until they not release their trauma, because in survival mode, you cannot really find your purpose and your success, what you want to do and who you want to be. So if you ask yourself question what I want and you don't know the answer, or who you want to be and you don't know the answer, reach out for help, and somebody can help you, us or somebody else. Reach out to person you feel that will align with you. I think this is very important, because as Kym said, it's also about that alignment, about to tune into the people, to feel them, feel people around us, how they are. So thank you, Kym, very much for coming on podcast. It was very interesting and you're doing great job. And yeah, I think that the get if you want to go on Kym's website, take the test and find out where you are on your journey of ultimate well-being. I think that it's a great tool. And thank you for coming.
Thank you so much, Barb. It's been lovely to talk with you today, and have a great week.
Thank you for listening to Way Out of Childhood Trauma. If today's episode resonated with you, visit your steps to explore resources, training, and support designed to help you understand trauma, reconnect with your inner strengths, and rewrite your story. Until next time, take your next step